Welcome to Living Local with Lori Johanneson. Hi, I'm Lori Johanneson, a top performing realtor in Naperville and the surrounding suburbs. Today on Living Local, I'm happy to be sitting here with Blake Rosenberg from Rosenberg Parker, and we're sitting in his office and we're going to talk about estate planning. Blake, if you don't mind introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about who should get an estate plan.
Sure. Again, Blake Rosenberg with Rosenberg Parker. We're a boutique Naperville law firm that handles residential real estate and estate planning. As far as who should get an estate plan, I recommend anybody that has kids for sure, and anybody that has any assets that they want to protect and make sure they are passed down in the manner in which they would like them to be passed on in the event of an unfortunate incident.
Well, I always thought that when you're old, you get an estate plan. So it's anybody who has kids. So that's very helpful and good to know.
Sure.
How long does it take to put this together?
So the process can be very quick. A lot of the times we get people who are going on a trip and decide they want an estate plan and they need it now. Can we get them done that quick? Absolutely. It just kind of depends on, our timing at that particular point in the year. Obviously, certain points in the year we're busier than others, but it's usually at least one consultation in where we sit down with you or do a Zoom call or a phone conversation with you to gather the information we need to prepare the docs. And then there's usually a second follow-up in which you would come in and sign the docs. So I would say anywhere from a half an hour to 2 hours of an initial consultation, and then the signing of it is pretty quick, 15, 20 minutes. And then depending on the time of year, a week to 3 weeks to actually prepare the documents.
So what happens if we don't have an estate plan? What are the risks involved of not owning one?
Sure. So when it comes to kids, one of the important things, and that's when most people go out and get an estate plan, is they want to make sure if something happens to them, what happens to their kids. Well, some people will say, well, they're going to my parents, or they're going to go to my wife's parents, or vice versa. And if you don't have a written plan when you pass away, both of your parents, or maybe your sister, a sibling, a friend might say, hey, Blake wanted me to have his kids. If there's not a written document that describes what your intentions are, a court will determine what's in the best interest of the kids, which may be what you think the court would determine, or it might be a different member of the family that you may not have chosen. So it's important for things like that. It's also important for when you pass away, depending on the type of estate plan, whether you go with a revocable living trust, in which that will avoid probate for you. So there are other advantages of having an estate plan in the event that you pass away, as far as handling property that you own.
Right. And you can actually do this online, but I'm going to say we're not going to advise that, because all the right questions to ask and to make sure that everything is handled properly. I mean, so much I think can be done online, but it's going to be the quality of what is delivered. And once an estate plan is established, does it get certified? Like, what is the next step, or how does that show it's
no certification of it? And I definitely would recommend not doing one online. There are some services out there that do it that are really good at what they do, but a lot of them are like, you have to know more about it in order to get exactly what you want. Having somebody that can walk you through, ask the right questions, find out the type of plan you want, the type that best fits your family's needs, I think is important. Once the estate plan is done, there's no certification process of it, but you will have a set of documents. It's not just the will or the trust. You'll also have powers of attorney for when you're alive and something happens. Again, a lot of people think it's just older people. So powers of attorney are useful for older people that may have dementia or Alzheimer's, or in situations in which you're in some type of a catastrophic accident and you can't actually make any decisions on your own. You'll have healthcare powers of attorneys and directives, as well as powers of attorney to handle things such as real estate and bank accounts, etc.
So don't do it online. Give Blake a call. He's who I would trust to do my estate plan, so hopefully you'll trust him too. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Living Local with Lori.
Thank you.
Please remember to follow us on our social media channels, as well as livinglocalwithlori.com.